Hi there, I'm Elizabeth with Ellie's Handcrafted Jewelry, and welcome back to my channel where I share tips, tricks, and tutorials for those looking to learn the art of wire wrapping and wire weaving. And today is another episode of our scrap wire series. And in this particular video, I'm going to be showing you how to create 3 different types of ear wires. One using twisted square wire, another 2 are using plain round wire, just with different styles, and also adding some hammered elements. But before we get into the video today, I am so excited to announce that the new course is finally available on my website. I've left the links in the description below to where you can find out more about that. But let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about the course before we jump in. So the course is for absolute beginners or beginners. And in the course, it's going to cover the basic terminology. It's going to tell you about the different tools and materials that you need to get started. It's got 3 friendly beginner weave patterns that you will eventually use to create 3 different jewelry projects. As part of the course, there's also a weave community that you are automatically enrolled in. And there you can share your work and ask questions with fellow budding wire weavers just like yourself. And if you'd like to sign up for an opportunity to win a scholarship, there is also a giveaway going on, and the winner will be announced August 19th. Now, with all of that said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Now to get started, we're going to have to dig through our pile here. And the type of wire I recommend having is 20 gauge, either square or round wire. So here's this piece of square wire. And I have longer pieces of wire because I'm very wasteful, unfortunately. But you'll probably only need a couple inches each. So I'm just going to see if I can get this pulled out. Actually, I'm going to cut it out. So here's a piece here. I'm going to use my ruler too. If I can grab it. Okay. So yes, this is definitely long enough. Put it here at the halfway mark. Got a couple pieces of 2.5 segments of 20 gauge wire. You can see some of my poor sad attempts here. So grab another segment. This is 20 gauge square wire, and we're going to use some of that as well. And I have some more 20 gauge wire here. Now for gauges for ear wires, I recommend using 20 gauge, 21 gauge, and occasionally 18 gauge, but you don't want to get any larger or any smaller than that. Ideally, I think 21 gauge is the most common that you'll see for ear wires, but I have 20 gauge, so that will work. And I have 3 types here, and I'm going to show you how to make 3 different types of ear wires. The first one, I'm going to be using 20 gauge round wire. And you just take your, I'm going to take my flush cutters and cut this end so it's nice and flush. And then I'm going to use my round nose pliers to round one end. Like so. Then I'm going to grab my mandrel here. You can also use bail making pliers, or you can use a dowel, whatever you have available, or pencil. And I'm going to use the largest one here because I'm making a C hook here. That. Then I'm going to grab my round nose pliers. And right here, right next to the loop, I'm going to bend this out. And then I'm going to use my flush cutters to cut the end here. So we have one, and to make one the same size, off the end. You can also mark your pliers, so you can see there's a line there on mine that has been worn in, so I know where on my pliers to bend. So it's a little bit the same. Wrong pliers for that. Okay, I'm going to grab my mandrel again, stick it on there. like that. And if you want, if you're trying to make them exactly the same, stick it on there. Have it right next to it. And then that'll give you an idea where to bend. Like that. I bent that too far. So now we have 2 C hooks. More like not exactly C. If you want them to be further up, you can. But I find these types of ear wires super reliable as far as them sticking in your ear and not falling out. And to file the ends, I have a cut burr, and I also have a file. And if you want, you can just kind of knock off the edges first. So, just softening those edges. And then stick it in your cut burr and turn it in one direction. So it's nice and round on the end. You can just do the same thing to the other one and you have a pair of ear wires. Now I'm going to do another one with round wire as well. This is also 20 gauge, and you can see my wire isn't exactly straight. So I'm going to put it there, grab my rubber bench block here, just roll it out. Do the same thing with the other one. So now they're nice and straight. In this one, I'm going to show you a hammered version. So we're going to move this out of the way. I'm going to trim this off the end, leaving a flush cut. Grab our round nose pliers and add that little mark on my pliers. Bend that up. Like so. Now I'm going to grab my mandrel, or not my, my mandrel. And I'm going to make this more delicate. So I'm going to put it right there. This over. And I'm actually going to leave this longer. So what I'm going to do is do the same on the other one. So that way I can make them about the same size. Bending this up. Grabbing my mandrel, putting it on the same step as before. And to make sure, sometimes I forget. I'm very forgetful at times. All right. And I got 2 ear wires, and I want them to be the same length. I'll put them right here. They're sitting next to each other. And I'm probably going to have the ear wires a little bit longer, so right there. Grab my chain nose pliers. Right there, the same spot, holding the same 2. Bend that out. And then trim. So now we got 2 ear wires that are the same size. And if you want at this point, you can file them down and use your cut burr. But I'm going to skip that part just to show you what I'm going to do with the next. And that's grab my mallet and my anvil. This is called a chasing or a chasing hammer. I think it's planching. I'm probably getting that word really mixed up with another word, but just set that there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to hammer this outer part right here just to add a little bit of dimension. So just like this. So we're going to drop the hammer. I'm going to drop it and then drag. So it should look almost like a J as you are hammering, looking down at it. And I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit so I don't hurt your ears. You can also wear earplugs. That will also protect your ears. So we're going to drop and drag until we get this to kind of spread out a little bit and add some dimension to our ear wire. can already see some nice dimension there. And I'm probably not going to do it all over because we want it to be comfortable in the ear still, but this is just to add a nice dimension. Do the same on the other one. And there's our other one. So they got nice dimension there. And if you want to harden the wire, you can also use a nylon mallet, or this is a rubber and a nylon mallet, so it's got both on both sides. You can use the rubber to harden the wire. That'll help harden up your wire a little bit too, especially if you're using dead soft copper. Now, last but not least, if you have a bunch of square wire, you can also turn it into ear wires. The way I like to do that is by grabbing my pin vise here. Screw that in. Stick this in there at the very end. And then I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers here. Hold it with my chain nose pliers and twist with the pin vise. And this will create twisted wire. Now this is good for two things. One, it's really pretty and decorative. The other thing is it hardens the wire as you twist it. So it makes it a little bit sturdier. So there's our twisted wire. Do the same thing with the other wire. And I've left links in the description below as well as to where you can get some of these tools. So if you're needing a hammer and anvil, or if you're needing a pin vise, I've left all the links to where I got mine. And this pin vise makes the job a lot faster, as you can see. You can also twist with your pliers, but this will leave fewer tool marks. And like I said, it's just a lot faster. Awesome. So now we got two twisted wires here. And now I'm going to trim this off. Put it in my round nose pliers at that little mark. So I'm gonna grab my mandrel again. Here. And if this turns sideways, it's okay. Like you could actually do this. And then just turn it back around with your pliers. Okay, so there's one. Do the same with the other one, so we try and keep them the same size. Trimming off the end. And our round nose pliers. Getting a little loop. Stick it on our mandrel. I'm going to bend about there. And you can get as creative as you want as far as the style. Trim that off. Okay, and then you can just use your cut burr, or you can use your file to file down the ends. Works just the same as round wire. And now you have decorative twisted ear wires. So you got some twisted ear wires. And then you got your C-shaped ear wires. You got 3 different types of ear wires to choose from. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, you can go ahead and leave them in the comment section below as I try to get to them as quickly as I can. And just a reminder about the new beginner course, if you're interested in looking more into that, there is a link in the description below that leads to my website that will explain everything that's in the course and so much more. So until then, you guys, happy weaving.